Hey guys, welcome to our channel. So it's the first time we've done a video in a while. We've been doing some other things. It's been really busy. We have a lot of uploads we have to go through, and plus we're also training some people to add to our team. So it's been hard to find time to be able to do a video. But I had a little extra time today because it's raining out here and I didn't have to spend as much time at my day job. And I decided I wanted to throw together a quick little video with my wife about what designs sell well on Amazon, what you should be looking for, where you should be looking for white spaces, where you can find a design and go, okay, this design sucks, it's selling well though, I like the idea, and how can I put my own spin on this, make it better. Don't copy, don't take this thing and just turn it into like, your own version of it. Like, make it better. There's plenty of room for improvement. There's plenty of room for inspiration. I think people a lot of times get confused and think that the idea is basically, I'm going to take this exact design, make it just a little bit better, make the drawing just a little bit better, but it's basically exactly the same thing, and you're never going to stand out that way. So here's what we're going to do. We took a random animal generator. We ended up on horses, so we're going to look at horse shirts on Amazon, and we're just going to open up a bunch of different designs in Merch Informer, see what's selling well, and see where we can maybe find improvements and maybe find a spot to put some designs out. So here's the little generator right here. Ended up on a horse, which I felt was probably a good thing. I think horses generally do pretty well in terms of niches. So we're going to go to Merch Hunter. Put in horse. We're going to search for 100,000 above BSR. I don't really care about the 100,000 and below. There's going to be a lot of competition there, and there's probably not going to be a lot of results. I want to see a decent number of results. All right. So, for those of you that don't use Merch Informer, here is one of the kind of cool little things I don't see people mention very often. It gives you an idea of, for all of the listings here, what the most popular phrases are. So just as an idea, you might want to consider the fact that, like horse, obviously that's the niche that we're in, but birthday, unicorn, gift, writing, these are all very popular keywords for shirts that are doing pretty well. So you might want to think about including those in your listings. Okay? So just a little tip. And what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and open up some of the different designs here and go through it and see where we might possibly be able to make improvements. I'm not going to open the dabbing shirt because fuck dabbing.
So over it.
Yeah, we're just over dabbing. I mean, they sell. Like, don't get me wrong, they sell. But
I just don't care.
Yeah, at a certain point you get tired of it. All right. Okay, so obvious things. I'm going to kind of go over the listing too. This is a Kentucky horse map T-shirt. So pretty simple design, obviously. Back to the idea that simple sells. Like, more often than not, a really simple design does really well. You don't need to overthink it. This is about as easy as it gets. It's literally like a horse cutout inside the map of Kentucky. So where do you think that we could possibly make some improvements on this?
You could add a distressed.
Distressed is always good.
You could just do maybe like a cowboy riding the horse, because it's Kentucky. They're more about, like they're a little bit more country.
Okay. What about the size and placement?
It's kind of hard because it's such a weird, it's like a small, narrow state. But you could also do like, maybe like the horse head just coming into the state.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like a bigger, so that's a little bit more obvious of what it is.
Right.
You could do a different color.
So you're saying color the horse instead of having the shirt color come through?
Yeah, or you could color the state, have it be different colors than just white.
Right. I kind of like the idea of just doing the outline of the state too versus just the white swatch
solid
across of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, those are all good ideas, I think. One of the things I will notice is, this is the brand name Kentucky Original Apparel. Just optimization tip, the dash right here, like, it may make your listing look a little better, but quite honestly, like, Amazon strips out all of this punctuation right here. I would never include this. So you have all of this valuable resources up here. Also, so gift for, and then also and, like, take those out. You don't need it. Amazon will figure it out. Gift, women, men, kids. Like, literally just have it like that. I also don't typically do T-shirt in my listings, but it kind of depends on what the listing calls for. So, like, if you put in predictive search, and we go to Amazon. So let's go to Amazon really quickly. And we put in horse. Okay. And I don't really see anything right there. So if I put in horse S, I see
Shirts for women.
Yeah, shirts for women shows up right there. Horse T. So I think it's probably, I would go with shirt personally, just because I think it's typically the thing that shows up more often than not, but it's kind of your own preference. Down here. So in your bullets, I understand you're an artist, and I understand that, like, this is your design, and you want to make sure that you watermark it and make people know that. I don't think that this helps you to sell a shirt. Nobody's looking for your original design. Quite frankly, everybody's looking at the picture right here. My philosophy when it comes to this stuff is bullets and title, those are for keywords. Those are how do I optimize those to get them to sell. So Bluegrass State is good. That is something somebody's going to be searching for with Kentucky. Beautiful shirt is not necessarily something somebody's going to look for. I never have ever looked for beautiful shirt when I was going to buy something.
Yeah, you could use like graphic shirt.
Graphic tees, T-shirt, that kind of stuff.
Cute, funny.
Cute, funny, those are good. Those are descriptive terms that people use. Derby might be a little bit on the edge here, simply because, like, I'm assuming Kentucky Derby is trademark, so just be careful. Bourbon ties in with Kentucky. So, sizes available for men, women, and children. I mean, yeah, I guess. I don't use this. I typically tend to try and have less verbiage in my bullets. I want them to be short, to the point, keyword rich. I don't want to have extra words in there that might confuse the algorithm. So this one right here, perfect gift for any Kentucky sports, college, or university supporter. That's really treading on the edge right there, simply because, like, Kentucky University, the way that the algorithm picks things up, it actually mixes all these words together. So, like, if you search for Kentucky University, this shirt's going to show up. That's a little iffy. You also just have, again, a lot of things. And also, at the same time, too, like, why would you wear this horse shirt to a Kentucky University football or basketball game? Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. It's not. I can understand the derby, the horse racing, all of that stuff. It's just kind of pointless. So when it comes back to relevancy in a listing, like, if somebody's searching for a Kentucky football shirt and this shirt shows up, do you think they're going to click through it? And if they click through it, do you think they're going to buy it? So that's how Amazon's algorithm is going to sort this. If they click through it, they look at it and they don't buy it, or if they search for it, it shows up in their feed and they don't even click on it, which is even worse. It's going to get pushed down. So something to keep in mind. On to the next one.
I don't even know. Wine barrels?
So, again,
Bourbon.
this goes to relevancy, right? So we're looking for horse shirts, and we have a map of Kentucky. This is a shitty shirt, so just...
I didn't even notice it was Kentucky.
Yeah, I only knew it because of the previous listing. So this is a Kentucky shirt, and somebody obviously took an image off of Google Images of bourbon barrels, maybe bourbon barrels, whiskey barrels, and stuck it in behind. Shirt sucks. So if this is your shirt, I'm sorry, but it does. It is selling, though. So when people talk about things are saturated in merch, yeah, there's a lot of room for improvement. So let's look at this thing. Where would you look to improve this?
I might put... I don't know. I don't really know much about bourbon or Kentucky.
Okay,
so it's really hard for... I mean, I wouldn't be in this niche because I'm not knowledgeable of it. But it's just really hard to tell what it is. I mean, maybe give an outline around it, like around the state.
Okay, give it a little bit more depth, a little bit more.
Yeah, I might do something with just a whiskey barrel, like somewhere. it's hard to describe, but I would do something with like a bourbon barrel or whiskey or whatever, and somehow incorporate that into the design with the state, or maybe just the outline. I don't know. Or you could possibly do like the barrel lines.
So
around
one of the things,
I don't know.
one of the things you'll see with whiskey, because I am a big whiskey fan, is so for example,
I drink vodka
and beer, just not tequila. No. So one of the things that they'll do is they'll actually burn the barrels, right? Because it's what gives it some of the peaty, smoky flavor. So one of the things that I would think about doing instead of doing this is maybe do a whiskey barrel, but have it look like the whiskey barrel has the outline of the state of Kentucky burned into it. So like the dark gray or charcoal on the actual barrel versus this. And I think you get your point across a lot better. This is selling, so I don't want to knock it too much because the market obviously wants it. Kentucky, whiskey, bourbon, it all ties in together. The title is done much better than the other previous one. However, this right here, this vertical pipe, is unnecessary. You don't need it.
This is the same person, Kentucky Original Apparel.
It is. So apparently this person likes Kentucky. They also like that. They also seem to be focused on the map of Kentucky.
Yeah.
So they are using the same bullet points in both, right? And this is why it's pulling up for horses. Again, so your bullet points should be describing your shirt. You should be trying to focus in Amazon's search algorithm for buyers for this shirt, okay? And it might be a perfect tee for the Derby, right? But one of the things you want to think about when it comes to this is, like, who are you marketing the shirt for? So obviously you're marketing it as like a whiskey fan or whatever, right? These are not necessarily the things I'd want to have in there. So again, just going over it. Make it really tight about the shirt. Don't throw in all this extra crap because it really is probably not going to help you in the long term. So last shirt we're going to go over. This one is, again, this is selling, guys. It's got 2 reviews. It's obviously sold before. This girl loves horses. So what are your thoughts about like the fonts, the selection, everything else?
It's creepy.
I think it's a little creepy too. It is vintage, which is good. Like people like distressed vintage stuff. Not a fan of the artwork necessarily because, you know, typically I find cute stuff sells better when we're doing this, right?
Yeah. It's too high on the shirt. They put their design all the way at the top of the template. It's too high.
Yeah.
It might look okay, but when you wear it, it doesn't look
right. The saying is going to be like right under their neck.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then what do you think about like the fonts?
Well, I don't understand. It's such a small. Why didn't they just use the same font for something like this? Like, if you're going to do a top and bottom like that, it should be the same font. If you're going to do like this girl and then loves horses underneath this girl, then maybe you could do like a cursive and a bold. But if you're going to do the rounded, like it doesn't look like it's too separated and weird.
Right. I also feel like this font up here, it's like very masculine. It's very bold, blocky, you know what I mean?
You could do like something, I mean, you could, and I would honestly just capitalize this girl, all of it.
Yeah.
Instead of having it.
Right, I agree.
Because girl doesn't need to be capitalized. Like,
right.
you know?
Yeah.
Grammatically correct.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it would look better if it was all similar, I guess. Yeah,
right.
It doesn't make
and
a lot.
loves doesn't need a comma. It's not plural. It's not multiple loves.
Correct. Yeah, and I mean, the biggest thing to me, quite frankly, is the artwork. I think that you want to go with something that's going to appeal to a girl. Like this very black, white, honestly kind of aggressive would be the way that I would describe it. Yeah. Doesn't seem to me like something that a girl is necessarily going to want to wear.
I mean, people have bad taste. That's why it's sold. But I mean, you know.
There are sellers everywhere.
It's not going to be a hot seller,
right.
I don't think.
But in terms of like an opportunity, like this would be a shirt that I would say was an opportunity to definitely put your own spin on it.
Yeah, and you could make something
completely different.
You could make so many different, completely different, much better, you know,
designs.
Yeah, evergreen designs.
Yeah. So when it comes to the listing, again, fill out the title completely so you can just tell that like they haven't filled it out all the way. I'm not sure that Western wear is necessarily a huge keyword for this thing. I would go with equestrian, horse riding, horse lover, that kind of thing. You know, gift idea is good. I think that birthday gift idea is a good idea. Little girls love horses, that kind of thing. Short and sweet is good. I do notice, for example, however, though, like, you have basically the same exact bullet points here, just turned around a little bit. Like, fit in different keywords in these spots. You want to have just a little bit more than this. Typically, we try and do, like, 2 keywords here and 2 keywords here.
And also, if Iron Eagle is your brand or whatever, I would use the brand name to put in some
keywords. Even
if you wanted to put, like, cute horse tees by Iron Eagle or whatever. I mean, obviously. Yeah, there are some keyword restrictions. You want to keep it under 35 characters. Yeah, something like that.
But yeah, I agree. I think it's a good spot there. You know, if you're keeping everything under one brand, I understand. However, I've definitely found that, like, brand name, having keywords in the brand name is a big ranking factor. It does help. So hope this gives you guys some ideas. We want to just kind of keep it short and sweet, not too long. I have a tendency to make pretty long videos. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Do me a favor, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please subscribe. We're going to be trying to put out a lot more videos, a lot more stuff like this, like nuts and bolts, really actionable material for you guys to look at and get some feedback in terms of what we think sells and sells well.
Yeah, and if you want to see more of these where we go over designs, things like that, let us know and we'll keep doing it. We just didn't want to do a super long video at first, just kind of short and sweet, give you guys some ideas.
Yeah, and if these are your shirts, don't get offended. Like, I'm sure there are plenty of people that look at our shirts and go, they suck too.
I have terrible shirts and they've sold, so
for sure. We're just trying to come up with, you know, show people things where there are opportunities to find a design or find an idea and go after it and make something a lot better and a lot different. Like, again, so many people get confused when we say make something better and think that they just need to take this design, knock it off, and change around 2 fonts and it's all good. Like, no, you can make this so much better, so much more original and different. So, thanks, guys.